What's up, guys? We found a new money making method. This train will make you rich, and we like to call this the money train. So I want to go ahead and start out by giving some shout outs to the people that made this possible. We have NeonRazor, the RuggedBeard, Disciple. Also appearing in this clip will be Roll Tidee a little bit later, and also an appearance by BRB. So we were kind of joking around, having a good time, thinking of what we were going to go ahead and title this video. You know, we were thinking we could go ahead and call it like, this secret will make you rich. Just kind of as a joke for all the YouTubers out there that seem to throw secret in every one of their titles. And we ended up deciding to go ahead and just say, this train will make you rich, because it seems like everything will make you rich in this game, whether it's this fishing spot, this cabin, this wagon, all that type of stuff. So it was just kind of a joke as far as the title, and that's kind of what we came up with. So this method just kind of came out of the blue. I ended up joining NeonRazor and the RuggedBeard in their lobby. And when I joined in, they were on a train just kind of messing around. We ended up having some lower players put an assassination attempt on us, so we had some fun with that. And then we figured while we had the train, why not go ahead and unlock that award for getting kills on animals on a moving train. So we were messing around with that for a while. We got to this location. Neon was like, hey, I see a bunch of birds, so let's go ahead and just hunt them. While we were doing that, we were like, hey, it would be a great idea if we could try to get these birds on the train. So you can see right now we do have some birds on here, and then we started to take it a step further, thinking, what else could we get on this train? We've never seen it happen before, so let's go ahead and play around with the idea, and you'll end up seeing what happens here, and it actually ends up being a very effective method. I would suggest if you're going to go ahead and try this, you probably want to be in a posse with at least a couple people. It's just going to make things a lot easier, so you can kind of go ahead and defend the train for people trying to rob it or trying to come and mess with you. But we knew we had to figure out a way to get the bigger animals on this train, and we figured what would be better than some kind of tunnel with some kind of overpass that we can go ahead and hang on. And you'll see our first victim right there was NeonRazor, who ended up going ahead and testing this out for us, and it doesn't look pretty, but it is effective. You'll see later on, though, as we keep doing this, we find more effective ways to make this more efficient, and if you watch a video, you'll go ahead and see there's a couple different ways that this will work. So here I am thinking, okay, let me go ahead and take the leap of faith. Let's test this out. Kind of slip off the mountain here and then end up landing. Luckily, I don't die. I think it was at this point I started to throw around the idea of like, hey, we might need to find a better way to make this work. Although it does work perfectly, the pelt ended up landing on the train. Same thing with carcasses. And, it is a pretty effective way. But we do end up fine-tuning this a bunch of different ways to make it a lot easier for not only us, but anybody else that wants to go ahead and try this out. After my first attempt, I ended up putting the pelt in a certain location, which I'll talk about in a little bit. It actually is a great place just in case the pelts do slide a little bit when you're riding the train. And right now I'm picking up a pelt that the RuggedBeard ended up dropping. So now we got two pelts, we got some birds. And this location here is going to be the best spot where these crates and these barrels are, just in case if the animals or the carcasses do end up sliding, like you might have seen in one of the first clips where a bird kind of almost slid off the edge. It will get trapped, and it'll be a perfect place to go ahead and keep these. So now we have Disciple, who's found a great technique for this without actually falling off and almost dying. He just kind of lands on top of that overpass above the bridge, and the weird thing about this is you do not see the animal actually drop down. But when I go over to check, there is a wolf that Disciple ended up capturing and bringing over for us that appears right there. So again, we ended up finding a bunch of ways to go ahead and make this work. And here's where BRB comes into play. He was a random, just kind of messing around, wasn't really doing much. He ended up hopping on the train, and he made a mad dash for the front, and he tried to take the train. So we all bum rushed him, and unfortunately we had to take him out because we definitely wanted to keep the train in this location. And we ended up messaging him. He was pretty cool. We told him, hey, you can do what you want to do, but just do not move that train. So as I said, that location is pretty good right there. You see, we're actually starting to stack up a lot of carcasses and pelts. And at this point, we're really thinking, okay, we need to go ahead and try to keep improving on this. Now, you'll notice in the clip, a lot of the pelts and animals are lower quality, and that's just because we were just trying to kill everything that we could find. We weren't so worried about the money that we were going to make off this. Although, if we were going to do this again and actually try to load it up with tons of animals and pelts, we're obviously going to use the correct weapons to get the best quality pelts and animal carcasses as possible so you can make the most amount of money. And this is also the reason why I said it's going to be probably wise for you to have at least a couple people in your posse. If you do, you can really start to stack up some pelts and carcasses and really start to make a lot of cash. So here's where we have Roll Tide comes into play, ends up jumping off the cliff onto the top of the wagon. So I'm starting to talk to the guys in the chat like, hey, this dude just ended up jumping his damn horse off the cliff on the wagon, so maybe we could go ahead and use this to our advantage. And then out of my surprise, here comes the RuggedBeard, ends up hopping off the cliff, ends up dropping a ram right there. So, you know, that was a pretty interesting clip, scared the hell out of me, and I didn't know what the hell was going on until I figured out, you know, that was him. At first, we were kind of suspicious of Roll Tide. He's just kind of creeping over there in the carriage. I guess just kind of observing what's going on. Probably like, what the hell are these clowns doing? Jumping off the damn mountain with these carcasses and pelts. But he ended up being a real cool dude, and you'll see later on he ended up helping us. So that was definitely much appreciated. And, you know, as you see in this clip, you know, I told you that we're going to go ahead and find some other ways to make this a little bit more manageable without having to jump off. One tip is you can go ahead and put a pelt at the end of the train, and you can actually step up onto the pelt and then get your carcasses and birds or whatever it is that you're going to go ahead and take and go ahead and transport it on the train. Now you see we're back in one of the carriages here because we're kind of filling up that flat part out in front. So you see we already have a good amount of carcasses and pelts on that first part. We're starting to load them up over here. So you can really stack up some cash and some pelts and carcasses as long as you go ahead and use the proper weapons so you get the highest quality pelts, so that'll just translate into the most amount of money for you. So right here, I think we have like another 6 carcasses and pelts, and that's just in addition to the ones we have on the front. Later on, we end up using a third carriage because we end up really just getting that many pelts and carcasses. So you can make a lot of money doing this. The more time you put into it, we really didn't take that much time. I think at this point, we were like, okay, let's go ahead and sell these just so we can finish this off. And the closest butcher was the one in Strawberry, so we go ahead and head that way. As soon as we get there, we had somebody else put an assassination attempt on us. So you see these guys for the past couple minutes have been unloading the train, taking the trip to Strawberry, selling everything that we got, coming back to keep repeating the process. And I don't remember exactly how much money we made for the parts we had, but I think we had roughly 20 to 30 pelts and carcasses throughout this clip. I guess I also should give a shout out to Rockstar because without them this wouldn't be possible. And what I mean by that is because they've been so slow to come out with any kind of updates, you know, people are kind of bored looking for other things to do. And if we had some updates, I tell you, we would have never found this. So hopefully we get an update next week. I did hear a rumor that, you know, some people were talking about the last week in January. And I did hear that rumor a couple weeks ago. So if that rings true, hopefully this week coming up, whether it's Tuesday or Thursday, we should get some new content to keep things interesting, or else, you know, who knows what's going to be next. But the way things work on YouTube, I know I'm a small channel, but I have a feeling that word will get out about this. So you may see some other people that will be posting this, possibly with secret in the title. It might be this secret train or this secret method. You know, I did joke about that earlier, but in reality, it's probably going to happen. Just remember, if you do see that, remember where you saw it first. You know, all jokes aside, I really had a blast with these guys going ahead and finding this, testing it out, fine-tuning it a little bit. You'll see coming up soon, we do have another way that you can actually make this a little bit more efficient, and that'll be coming up pretty soon. So big shout out to those guys. I, you know, did a live stream where I gave away a $20 gift card, I think last weekend, and for a while that's been the most fun I've had, either playing the game or doing any kind of live stream up until today. This was actually, you know, incredibly fun to go ahead and do this, just to go ahead and mess around with something that I don't think has been done, or at least something that I haven't seen before. I pretty much keep up on everything on YouTube as far as, you know, money making methods, glitches, and just any kind of videos that come out. For anybody that's interested though, while I have a minute, I did release a video today comparing the semi-auto shotgun versus the repeating shotgun. So far I've gotten a lot of a lot of comments, I would say. People seem to really like that one. I do take a lot of pride when I do those. You know, sometimes videos like this are more of either just like kind of a joke or something that just comes up out of the blue. So if you're interested, go ahead and check that out. It seems to be a pretty good video if you're deciding on those two shotguns. And, you know, it should help you out. It's actually helped some people out as well. So, like I said earlier, if you go ahead and use the proper gun or arrows or something so you can ensure that you get the best pelt. If you look at all this stuff here, you know, if you get like a 2-star coyote or deer or buck or anything like that, they're usually about a minimum of $4, $4.50, $5 for the carcass itself. And then, you know, you have the pelt. And then if you skin it, you will have the meat, maybe some claws or teeth or any of those extra things, horns, antlers. But this was what I was talking about, where some of these guys ended up finding a way to get the horses on the train. Now, you can travel on the train with these horses. They won't jump off or fall off. And this will help either to load up those animals, jump on the train, and then have those there so you have some extra storage if you start to run out, if you really go ahead and grind this hard. So again, I really appreciate the guys who made this possible. Had a blast with them while we were doing this and testing it out, as well as playing with them, you know, before and after we ended up doing this. We have NeonRazor, the RuggedBeard, we had Disciple, Roll Tidee also helped out, and then BRP who made an appearance. So I do have some more uploads planned for the next couple days. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if this works for you. Leave some comments, and I'll see you next time.